Asking you today what you make of the government proposals. Let's cross to Matthew in the newsroom, who has a few more details about what everyone has been saying. Matthew.
We do, Jane. Thanks very much. We come out in here into the newsroom because we often ask you for your pictures, for your emails, for your texts. I just thought we'd show you around and show you actually what we do when you text us and you send in your messages. Show you where they come into and what we actually do with them. Well, you see the massive newsroom here. Well, this particular area is where all of that information that you send us comes into. And Alex Emery, you're looking at all of the stuff that's coming in today. How much traffic, first of all, for childcare? Because certainly we've been reading out a few and there seems to be quite a lot coming in.
Definitely a lot coming in. Emails, people are texting us, 61124, it's on Twitter, on the story on the website, on bbc.co.uk/news. If you go to Have Your Say, we've got comments at the bottom of the story as well. So you'll see there's a lot of comments down here, almost 800 comments. So
800?
800, almost 800. So
and what are the sorts of things people are saying?
Generally people are negative about it. They're saying, why should both parents go out and work, but if you want to stay at home, if you want to bring up your own children, why are you going to be losing out? People that have been saying actually they are quite pleased, but it's all too little too late. So why is it taking 2 more years to come in? Why can't it happen now? So people who have kids already, by the time it comes into effect, those children will be too old. I think it's five years old, isn't it? And they're saying, why can't it be extended to further than 12?
Well, the government are talking ultimately of extending it to 12 years old. How quickly, just take me through on the screen, when somebody sends something in, how quickly do you see it and how quickly is it processed? How quickly can it get onto air?
If people are texting in, that's immediate. So we have colleagues around here who are reading the text and then we can send it through to you and producers and that gets on air. If you want to comment on the actual story, you log in and basically you leave your comment here. They are moderated and then they'll go up and you'll see editors' picks as well, and you can see the highest and lowest rated. So it's all here on bbc.co.uk/news and you can see the main story at the top.
All right, Alex, thanks very much. It is interesting, actually, that the fundamental thrust is quite negative from those ones that we've had a look at so far. I've got a few here, a few emails. When you think that up to £1,200 per child, that is what the government is saying. So it is interesting that people slightly turning their noses up. Let me just go through a few that we've had most recently. One saying how very disappointing and so very typically conservative. They say the average childcare costs are £6,000. Really, it says? I pay £11,000 a year, and not just in London either. And the icing on the cake, this isn't coming into effect till 2015, when my son starts school. Another one here says, finally a scheme which will benefit working middle-class families. However, £6,000 per year limit is laughable. A nursery place in London is about £1,400 per month. And one last one saying, this subsidy is all wrong. Childcare providers will simply raise their charges and taxpayers' money will simply disappear into the accounts of business people. Again, it will be the same as housing benefits. So just as those texts there that we were looking at on the screen, quite a negative response so far, and it was supposed to be one of the big ideas for the family from the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. If you want to have your say, it is the usual address, the usual telephone number, and perhaps we'll get to your thoughts a little later. Now it's back to Jane.
Thanks very much, Matthew. Thank you. I think they tried to give me my thoughts and they wanted you to hear what I had to say, but obviously you got your word in.